USDC, the real banker's coin. That could actually be the case. The darling stablecoin brought to you by Coinbase in joint venture with Circle. One stable to rule them all. And more importantly, chip away the market share from the unbridled USDT. You see, Circle is basically Goldman Sachs. While everyone was looking at the much more decentralized XRP yelling security and dubbing it the banker's coin, the true banker's coin was being hatched right under our noses. Find out why USDC may be part of an evil plot to take over the world, and yet still be the stablecoin you can trust the most. Let's get it. Welcome to Ben Armstrong Crypto X. Don't just trade crypto, experience it. Hit that subscribe button to join Ben Nation. Today, we're jumping into the second largest stablecoin as we march through the coins of the top 100. USDC stands for USD coin, but most of us just call it by its ticker USDC. This is the most trusted stablecoin in the crypto industry with a market cap of over $24 billion. This makes USDC the 7th largest crypto asset by market cap and the 2nd largest stablecoin. It still has a way to go before catching up to Tether, but USDC is gaining ground fast because it has developed a reputation for being more trustworthy, having stronger reserves than its competitors, Tether. It also seems to be the preferred stablecoin of governments and regulators, and it's already a top contender to become the primary medium of exchange in the United States. Stick around for the end of the video to see how this is even possible. And make sure to smash the like and hit that subscribe button to help spread crypto adoption. That's why you need to do it. As with any good stablecoin, the all-time chart for USDC has pretty much been a flat line, but it has lost its peg before and one time dropped to as low as 86 cents on some exchanges. Overall, USDC has been more stable than other dollar-backed crypto assets, and it's also been the most transparent about its reserves. A prestigious accounting firm called Grant Thornton goes over their books every month, and the records are shared online, offering much more detail and transparency than we see from other stablecoin projects like Tether. USDC was launched by a partnership called Censorship Consortium in 2018. This group only has 2 members, Coinbase and another crypto company called Circle you may have heard of. Even though Coinbase was heavily involved in the project, most of the day-to-day operations were handled by Circle. In August of 2023, Coinbase and Circle announced that they were dissolving the consortium, leaving Circle as the total owner and controller of USDC. Circle was founded way back in 2013, long before the launch of USDC. It developed a few different products in the crypto industry the first few years it was in the business, but didn't really make a name for itself until USDC. The company was founded by Jeremy Allaire, who has a long history in the startup and VC world. He's still the CEO of Circle and one of the main faces of the USDC brand. He also has a position with the International Monetary Fund as a member of the IMF High-Level Advisory Group on FinTech. So many distinguishments. Circle has played it by the book and maintained a friendly relationship with regulators, which is the path least traveled in this industry for sure. Company's executives like Chief Strategy Officer Dante Disparte, or better known as Dante Disparte, and General Counsel Flavia Naves have been lobbying for stablecoin regulation for years, which has allowed them to shape the rules of the space. This will give them a massive advantage in the years to come as regulators begin to crack down on stable crypto assets that compete with the dollar. Maybe they should look at the BRICS nations for Joe Biden. Some of the biggest financial institutions in the world have invested in Circle, including BlackRock and Fidelity. Circle even entered a strategic partnership with BlackRock, who's now the primary asset manager of USDC cash reserves. Now, if you have some cash on reserve, you should safely consider playing some games on Stake, our channel sponsor. Stake is the world's largest social casino in the entire world. In fact, visit the link in the description or scan the QR code on the screen. Get started with Stake, fun, games, social chat, and more. The Ben Armstrong Crypto Experience is powered by Stake. And guys, we're the only crypto YouTube channel they like. So figure it out. One of the main selling points about USDC is that the asset is backed 1-to-1, meaning that every USD coin represents a dollar held in a bank account. This is great for people who are worried about all the risks in the crypto markets, and it works perfectly as long as the traditional markets are running smoothly. But what happens when USDC's banker goes under? Well, that's exactly what happened in 2023. Circle was holding $3.3 billion in Silicon Valley Bank when it collapsed, sparking fears that all of our money was gone. If it wasn't for a government bailout that saved all of the corporate customers at Silicon Valley Bank, a third of Circle's assets would have been gone like that. When news broke that Circle was caught up in the contagion of the bank collapse, there was a massive panic that sent the price down to 86 cents. Some of the biggest tech companies and VC firms in the world also held their money in Silicon Valley Bank. So the government rushed in with a bailout right away. They're so good for doing those things when it helps them. As soon as the bailout was announced, the price of USDC shot right back up to $1. This could have ended very badly for Circle and USDC, and this is one of the main controversies about the whole project. It's way too reliant on the traditional financial system. This is true especially from a crypto perspective, but relationships with the traditional world is what will bring USDC into the mainstream, and maybe even the primary currency of the United States. It sounds crazy, but it makes a lot of sense if you actually sit and think about it. Stablecoins are a major threat to central banks, so they're going to need to compete with the market by launching their own stablecoin. Or they can just adopt one that already exists and try to take as much control of it as they can. Some governments are already rushing to launch digital versions of their obsolete fiat currencies. I can't wait to see Venezuela's. Before existing crypto stablecoins achieve mainstream adoption. These digital versions of fiat currencies are called central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs, not to be confused with your local fake weed store. According to a survey published by the Bank of International Settlements in July of 2023, 93% of the world's central banks say they're either researching or building a CBDC. In China, the government's already been experimenting with the concept by creating its own CBDC called the digital yuan. It is digital like crypto, but the governments have total control over your funds and can track all of your transactions. And they can also inflate it in ways they wish, just like they do with paper fiat. So it's nothing like the crypto assets that we know and love, it's more of the same scam. If you want to trade actual crypto, make sure to click on the Phemex link in the description or scan the QR code on the screen. Then don't forget to grab your Palau e-residency program card so you can KYC and trade regulated when your card comes in the mail. So all the cool kids are trading now, and you know that because I tell you every single time I say this, I'm a cool kid. Some politicians here in the US have pushed for us to do something similar, but the idea is still controversial because even though financial surveillance is very popular in our government, adopting surveillance tactics from China is not a good look politically. Crypto-friendly politicians have proposed that we should look to the private sector instead, which would be more in line with the free market values that our government pretends to have. Believe it or not, these pro-crypto voices are actually being taken seriously. September of 2023, the House Financial Services Subcommittee on Digital Assets, a committee in the U.S. Congress, held a meeting called Digital Dollar Dilemma, Triple D, the implications of a central bank digital currency and private sector alternatives. Triple D, sounds like something Gary Gensler has for breakfast. The fact they mentioned private sector alternatives in the title shows that they're taking crypto seriously, because let's face it, crypto stablecoins are really the only realistic private sector alternative to CBDCs. If the government did look to the private sector for potential CBDC candidates, USDC would be at the very top of the list, and really, they would be the only name on that list, because there are no other stablecoins that have such a deep and friendly relationship with regulators. Coinbase CEO Uncle Brian vaguely said that was the plan, predicting in 2022 that USDC would become the de facto central bank digital currency. Banks are really starting to get worried that something like this could happen. Now in 2023, a banking industry think tank called the Bank Policy Institute warned in a newsletter that USDC could become a backdoor CBDC now that it's got the help of BlackRock. Ooh, that's BlackRock. These terms, de facto and backdoor, basically mean different things in different industries. And this one, it means USDC would become the main currency in the US without official decree. It wouldn't be the official currency of the country, but it would act like it in every way. That means no consent. The theory is that USDC will eventually become so popular and trusted that it won't make sense to launch a CBDC. This is very possible because the Fed and the US government would have a lot of catching up to do if they want to launch a stablecoin of their own. USDC already has a massive head start. There's a very good chance that it could become the CBDC through adoption, not necessarily by law. USDC would be much better than a true CBDC like China's digital yuan, but if the US government took a few more steps towards authoritarianism, they could force Circle, the company behind USDC, to do whatever they wanted, which could include adding surveillance features similar to those seen in China, a complete no-consent state. Circle has proven in the past they will comply with any government order they are given, which does present a potential censorship risk. Hopefully, Circle would only be forced to interfere with transactions in extreme situations like crime or terrorism. But governments, this might shock you guys, they've been known for using their powers against political enemies as well. So the control that Circle has over USDC can definitely become a problem if push comes to shove, and often it does. Our country loves war. This seems to be what organizations like the World Economic Forum are pushing for. In their Davos agenda for 2022, the World Economic Forum called for a partnership between the private and public sectors for the development of CBDCs, which would probably involve private companies launching and building the infrastructure for the financial system with direct government oversight. There is also a chance that we could see things play out here like they did in Nigeria. The CBDC that Nigeria's government launched in 2021 was expected to be a massive success because crypto is already fairly mainstream in that country. This actually ended up being a major problem for the CBDC though. Because people were already using crypto and already comfortable with self-custody. Why would they want to sell their crypto over some government S-coin? And by S-coin, I mean spy coin. Over the past few years, it became clear that the CBDC was a failure. So in late 2023, the Nigerian government was forced to reverse the ban on Bitcoin and other crypto assets that it implemented when it rolled out the CBDC. A fun fact, Nigeria is ranked just ahead of the United States in crypto adoption, supposedly. They're number 3, US number 4. The law was obviously a move to kill the competition, but it didn't work. Crypto only got more popular while it was legal. Just a few days after the ban was reversed, a collection of Nigerian banks and blockchain companies announced the development of a private sector stablecoin for Nigeria. Think about this for a minute. A government banned crypto to launch their own digital currency, and then had to totally reverse the decision 2 years later because the economy was getting worse under their CBDC and crypto was getting more popular. Considering how stubborn governments and central banks are, I can see similar situations playing out in many other parts of the world where they'll put up a fight, but in the end, they will need to admit failure and hand over the keys of the financial system to the new guard. If that happens here, hopefully, we don't have to go through 2 years of crypto users being labeled as criminals before we can declare victory. 1 night in jail was enough for me. Make sure you hit the like button on your way out. Be blessed.